Welcome to Coffee Hour number 2. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Before I begin, I hope that you've seen my apology videos, and if you haven't, this will more than likely be a two-part video because I am going to have to stop because I have pizza in the oven, and it's going to have to come out of the oven within the next 7 to 8 minutes. And rather than wait to 8 minutes to go ahead and um, wait for the video and then make the video, I don't have time for that. Plus, somebody just pissed me off. So, I have attempted to make this video at least 4 times. So before we begin to make this video, I am going to apologize to you one more time because this is a Donald Trump video. I do not like making Donald Trump videos. I have a personal grievances with racism, and I have a personal grievance with racist. As a mixed person, that being of native, black, and white, white, and native, or white, native, and black, I'm all three. Doesn't matter how you slice it. There we go. I'm a 50-year-old man. I was mixed native before this bullshit started happening on TikTok. And I'll be mixed native when all social media is no longer in existence and my ass is dust in the wind. Okay, so before we begin, I would like to offer an apology. Again, I have attempted to make this video 5 times today. 5 times. And I had to delete 5 of these fucking videos. I do not intend on deleting this video, but I do want to apologize to everyone who's here. There's 359 of you. I do expect to lose people because every time I make a video about Donald Trump, I piss people off. And so, therefore, I apologize right now. Sorry. Don't need any distractions, even though yellow is my favorite color. I don't need any distractions, plus I'm already pissed the fuck off. So, here's how this is going to work. I apologize to all 359 of you, especially the ones that I'm going to piss off. If you don't like this video, if this video doesn't wake you up to the fact that racism is a thing and that racism is mostly pushed by the Republican Party, then we got problems. Alright? Lots and lots of problems. And if you choose not to follow me after that, hey, I'm not going to be mad at you. It's only going to say that if it applies to you, then your truth will come out eventually. Because a lot of people aren't racist, or they don't know that they're racist, or they don't know that they say racist shit. And it pretty much walks right over their head, or walks right by them. And it definitely works in the voting booth because you can tell how the way the world is working right now, especially with people who's MAGA, and especially with people who don't want to see racist and don't want to say racist shit. So before you Trump supporters jump down my throat, let me first point out the fact that, yes, I heard what Joe Biden said. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I'm 50 years old. Alright? And I will say that Joe Biden has done more for black people than Donald Trump has, regardless of what you're going to come and tell me in the fucking comments. Donald Trump didn't import a black Supreme Court justice. Alright? In fact, he tried to stop that shit, in case y'all aren't up to speed. Alright? He has mostly imported conservative people. Alright, so I'm going to start now. I'm done apologizing. I will not apologize for the rest of this video on the shit that I say. I might apologize for how I say that shit, but I mean it. I'm giving you 99.9. You can take it or leave it. And if I hurt your feelings, this is the last apology that comes out my mouth. This is it. The last fucking apology. So I am sorry. But it's time that we all move into reality. Alright? First and foremost, my issues with Donald Trump is my issues. They're not your issues. You probably don't have an issue with that motherfucker, and that's great. Right? But me and quite a few other people who aren't scared to say the shit, but they won't acknowledge it, that's the problem. Alright? You acknowledge the fact that Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And every Trump supporter uses that one. They uses that one. But they don't go back to 89 and 91. Let's go with 89 first. I am the same age as the Central Park 5. In fact, one of them just turned 50 at either the beginning of February, the ass end of January. Right? Tomorrow will be in March. But no one has acknowledged the fact that even they did a documentary, and the guy doing the documentary was a white dude. He asked the president, would you now, as president, apologize to the Central Park 5? And he still, to this day, even though DNA has proven them to be innocent, and they even did time with the guy that did the shit, he wouldn't apologize. And this is the guy you guys want for the president. The same guy who wants to destroy the Constitution of the United States. The thing that keeps America, America. The thing that I put my dog tags on to defend. Because if you don't know what the oath of service is, you swear to follow the Constitution, to protect and serve the Constitution from foreign and domestic terrorists. And then the next line is obey the commander-in-chief. But what you don't know, that in the military there is a chain of command. The commander-in-chief, being the president, cannot really be relieved of command without being voted out by the people. However, in wartime, if such an act becomes where the President of the United States is fixing to give America to the superpowers that are against us, is the only time that he can be relieved of duty. All right? Veterans know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you what it is on camera because I can't remember it by word or by title, but there is a time where the commander-in-chief can be relieved of duty if he becomes a clear and present danger or treasonistic acts. The president can no longer be in charge of America, and then the government / military can take the fuck over. All right? I'm not saying that Trump's going to do that, but I'm also not going to defend that motherfucker because I'm not putting past anybody. Biden could do it tomorrow, and we're all dead. Trump can do it when he gets back in, and we're all dead. So therefore, we're going to get to me and my issues with Trump. We got past the Central Park 5. Now let's go to the casinos where the Native Americans were beating his casinos, and he didn't like that fact because he had to pay higher taxes for his casinos versus the Native Americans, because the taxes that the Native Americans pay go back into the casino, and it goes to all the natives who live on the reservation. And he didn't like that shit. They don't look like Indians to me. You guys can go find that video. You can spin it any way you fucking want, but that does not change the fact that he does not like Native Americans and he does not like blacks. Let me confirm, because a lot of people are going to say, what do you mean he doesn't like blacks? He has black people in his trials all the time. We're going to go to that in a minute. By the end of the video, or by the beginning of the second video, because I got to go check my pizza, we're going to get to that. But here's the thing. Pay attention. Before I was born, him and his daddy didn't want black people renting from them in certain neighborhoods in New York City. Go Google that shit. And before you put a spin on it, maybe you should actually read the article. And then if he's still your high mighty savior, there's no hope for you. Alright? There's no hope for you. And we're going to leave it at, there's no hope for you. I'm going to continue now. Alright? We're moving on. We're catching up to the present. Alright? And there's always been issues with Native Americans in the government, period. Wounded Knee, free Leonard Peltier. He's a political prisoner. The government also have gone after black people. Therefore, the Black Panther Party was established. Aim for the Native Americans, the Black Panthers for the black people. Okay? It's very informative that you pay attention to the things that I just say. AIM, the American Indian Movement. Black Panthers, for black people's civil rights. Alright? And in between all that, Dr. King, Malcolm X. There you go. Now, getting you up to speed on that. Let's go to Standing Rock. Obama's last term. Obama decreed that Standing Rock would be protected from the people bringing in the pipelines, the tar sands, and all that other bullshit. Donald Trump's first day got rid of that shit. So don't sit here and tell me, if you're a token native, that Trump is for natives, because he's not. And in case y'all forgot, let me get one good in for Biden. When Biden literally decreed on the news that he signed a bill that made it illegal for people to scalp Native Americans in a certain city in a certain state. I don't remember which one, but you guys can go Google that shit. Just like you can go Google the Trump thing about not letting black people rent for them. Now, you can take that any way you want it. You can put any spin on it as you want it, and that's fine. If the glove doesn't fit, you got to acquit. If it doesn't apply, let the shit fly. However, and I say this cautiously and posthumously, you're all going to have your own opinion by the time this video is over. Whether you choose to stay here on Comfortable Havoc number 2 or you choose to leave, the door's always going to be open for you. Regardless. And regardless of what you put in the comments, I'm not going to clap back. Period. Might make a video about it, but I'm not going to clap back. I did make a video about the guy who came at me about my X-Men and stuff. But, I didn't insult him because it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change his feelings. It's just his opinion, my opinion. My life is mine. I'm going to live it for me, whether people like it or not. Now, let's go to COVID. There was a news reporter who was of Asian ethnicity, Chinese to be exact. She was from Virginia, my area of Virginia. Not exactly in Charlottesville, but close enough to Charlottesville. She asked him a question, and he goes, "Why don't you ask China?" Then he did the same thing to a white lady. "I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk to you because you gave up your time for this woman to ask me a question." Then he did the same thing to a white man. And yet y'all don't see the repetitiveness of this man's racism. And before anybody says, "Oh, he's not being a racist, he's being a bigot," maybe you ought to Google what the fuck racism is, or racist and bigot. They're the same fucking side, just two different sides of the same fucking coin. Racism is more defined, where bigot, they took all the big words out and made it simple. If you're a racist, you're a fucking bigot. I'm sorry. If you don't like that, that's not my problem. Then you have to remember that when COVID hit, the first damn thing he did was tell people, don't get vaccinated. Even though he got vaccinated and did some Klonopin something or another. Shit that's beyond my pay grade and a word I can't spell or pronounce, which is cool. But then he took it a step further. When he started telling people the Chinese virus, the Wuhan disease, the Wuhan flu, Kung flu, and he kept rubbing it in. Every time he got on TV, he never shut the fuck up about this shit. And if you are allowing it, you are the problem. So I'm going to make a part 2 because I'm going to go check my pizza. Actually, no, I'm going to check my pizza. And if I have to make a part 2, I will make a part 2. But you guys are just going to stare at the wall and there's waterfalls. If you can actually see the damn waterfalls. But if you can't, that's great too. That's some shit that could have waited for another time. Anyway, as I was saying, the attacks on Asians jumped up when he started that shit. Literally jumped up. Yes, there were attacks on Asians before that shit. Without a question, without a doubt. We can't put the ones before that shit on Trump. But the ones after he started talking about the China virus, the Kung flu, the Wuhan disease. People who were attacked, this is where I tell you about racism. Most of the victims weren't even fucking Chinese. They were Asian, but they weren't Chinese. Let's start with the first attack that I noticed. So before my crush in my head and future wife say this language would possibly never happen, but I don't give up that easily, and I'm not a homewrecker. Before she touched on it, I touched on it. And then everybody else started touching on it, which goes to prove that I don't mean shit to anybody other than you guys here. There was an old man of Asian ethnicity, and he was trying to collect cans to support his family. And some stupid black people, that's right, I said it, some stupid black people decided they were going to beat this man. Every time he tried to reach a can, and then they kept taunting him. "Here, have the can." Swap, then they'd hit him. Yeah, so don't tell me that black people can't be racist, because I don't want to hear that bullshit. That's living proof that black people can't be racist, alright? Then there was the girl on the train where the black guy said something to her, and he threw something at her. And then all you hear is feet, and then you see her flying dragon kick the fuck out of him while she's rocking her little yellow coat. Good job, girl. So again, don't tell me that black people can't be racist. Everybody can fucking be racist. Everybody. And anybody who says they don't, they're lying to themselves. Everybody can be racist. Then, let's talk about the young black man who took a brick, broke into the Korean store, and started beating the sisters with a brick because he didn't like Asians and he thought they had corona. Let's talk about the young black girl who tried to stab the Asian woman with the fucking screwdriver. Let's talk about the 4 black girls who set one Asian lady on fire. Let's talk about the 4 black girls who set the Asian up and beat her up on the fucking school bus. Let's talk about the Filipino man who got cut from this side of his face all the way across his nose because they thought he was Chinese, but he was fucking Filipino. Because racist people can't tell the difference. Hell, I'm not racist and I can only tell the difference if you give me your last name. So before you sit here and say, well, that's just isolated incidents, Trump isn't responsible for that. Is he though? Because you gotta understand the wordplay. Alright? If you're a racist person and you see someone giving people diseases and somebody you know catches the disease but they had no contact with Asians but they had contact with other people but everybody who was a Trump supporter. What was that? What, how'd it go? Let me see. What was these things? I ain't wearing no damn mask. I'm not getting no fucking ejaculation in my arm. And yes, I did say ejaculation when I meant to say injection. But I said what I said. But how many times did you hear that? Most people were complying, especially the people who didn't want to get the shot. Motherfuckers rocked the mask. I went to work, mask was a requirement. You know what else was a requirement at my job? Got all my shots. My card's over there. I've had all 3 shots and at least 2 boosters. So, again, let me make it clear. One more again. You know, shit was getting done and shit wasn't getting done. And Trump was at the forefront of all that shit. Then all of a sudden, other people start attacking Asians. One Asian man died. It took one guy to die before a more famous person than me decided to open up her mouth, which would be Olivia Munn. Shout out to Olivia Munn. Because had Olivia Munn not start talking, nobody was giving a damn. I made 9 videos about this shit when it first started happening, and nobody gave a shit. Zeta made a video about the shit, and nobody gave a shit. Olivia Munn has a little bit more fame than Zeta and me combined, and people started giving a shit. And they really started giving a shit when the old Asian lady took that fucking 4x2, it's a 2x4, to that dude's head because he attacked her husband, but he said he didn't do it, that somebody else did it, and that lady didn't give a fuck because she fought back. So, where are we? Are you seeing my grievances? Are you seeing the racism? And then people will be defending him. Oh, he's not a racist, he's a fucking bigot. Heads, tails, racist, bigot. There is no in between. If you're a racist, you pretty much are a fucking bigot. Now again, people didn't want to acknowledge that shit. So let's go a little bit further into more of my grievances with Mr. Trump. We talked about Standing Rock. We talked about the Wuhan virus. Let's go back to some more Native American shit. When he got in from day one, he got on Elizabeth Warren. The first thing he did was calling her by the name of the first missing and murdered indigenous woman on record. Not factually, but on record factually. Her name is Pocahontas, a.k.a. Matoaka. Also, I have a grandmother named Pocahontas. That is the nickname that she has inherited. However, her real name is Marie. Now, let me break this down for you. Every chance that he got, he took a stab at Elizabeth Warren. And he kept calling her Pocahontas, Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Go back. There's videos. Go watch the shit. You don't have to take my word for it. Go watch the shit. No, it's not a fucking deep fake. You literally see him do it on live when he hands the Navajo code talkers their fucking medals. We have someone who's been in the White House for a very long time. In fact, her name is Pocahontas. Now, did I word it right? Nope. But that doesn't change the fact that that motherfucker said it. You know what else happened? One of the code talkers Couldn't hold it in. He was trying not to laugh, but he laughed. The other one, poised like a motherfucker. True soldier. The other guy's a soldier too, because there's always going to be a soldier that just goes, fuck it, and starts laughing. How do I know? I'm a soldier. No, it ain't too many soldiers that don't know, about this shit. And yet, most people won't acknowledge it. Won't acknowledge it at all. And if you're not willing to acknowledge a racist, what does that say about you? What does it really say about you? I'm a multicultural person. I don't have the right to be a racist, but yet you will find plenty of videos where I say this, and I will say it one more time. I am a multicultural person. I do not have the right to be a racist because I have 3 races, Native, Black, and White. But I am very racist to racist people, and that includes Trump. And before you go back to it, yes, Biden has said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah, but Biden has been working his ass off to put black people in places of power. So he's making up for that shit. And then you have your tokens. So the next part of this video, because there will be a part 2, will be about the fucking tokens. Thank you for watching. I gotta check my pizza.